Dividing by decimals. In the last video, we learned how to divide decimals by whole numbers. This time, we're going to figure out what to do if our divisor has a decimal in it. We can't follow the same rules as our last video. This is part one of dividing by decimals, where we're going to learn how to do it with a model. In part two, you'll learn the algorithm and some patterns that make the algorithm work. So why in the world would we ever need to divide by a decimal? Well, here's a great example. Let's say that you got a $3 gift card from your very cheap aunt to Michael's. And for Christmas, you got a rainbow loom, and so you wanted to go get some refill packs of rubber bands. So you noticed that in the newspaper that they were on sale for 75 cents. So you might think to yourself, how many 75-cent bags of rubber bands can I buy with my super cheap $3 gift card? Well, the problem that and here's the question, how many bags can you buy? Well, the problem that you're really doing is $3 divided by 75 cents. And to see why that makes sense, it's because you're thinking how many groups of 75 cents are in $3. Remember that there are two ways to think about division, where you're trying to find out the number of the groups or the size of the groups. And in this case, you're trying to find out the number of the group. So let's model this problem with base 10 blocks. I would begin by drawing the dividend, the amount that we're starting with. So I'm starting with 3 holes to represent the $3. The divisor is going to represent the size of the groups. So I'm going to make groups of 75 cents. So in my $3, I'm going to try to find out how many 75 cents I can find. So immediately you're going to see that you're going to need to break your dollar into dimes, or if we're talking about base 10 blocks, I'm going to break my flat into tenths, into rods. So that's what I did here. I broke this into 10 pieces, broke this one into 10 pieces, and broke this one into 10 pieces. Now I'm going to try to find groups of 75 hundredths, or 75 cents. So I'm going to count over 7 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 tenths, and then I need to get 5 hundredths. So what I'm going to have to do is break one of those rods into 10 pieces. So I'm going to take this one and break it into 10 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So then my group is going to include 5 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now, so all I did was break one of the tenths into hundredths so that I could count the hundredths here, the 5 hundredths, and I have 75 there. 7 tenths, 5 hundredths. So now I'm going to put this 25, 10, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. If I have 25, then I want to add 50 to it to get 75. You can kind of see quarters here, right? This much would have been 2 quarters. Here's the 3rd quarter. Here's the 4th quarter of the dollar. So I'm going to put that together with this quarter with 50 cents to make another 75. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. There's my middle mark. And I have made a group of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 75. So that's my second group of 75. So far I can buy 2 bags. Then I'm going to keep going. I have 50 here, and I'm going to want to find 25 more to make 75. So I'm going to need to break one of my rods into hundredths. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So then I'm going to put together 5, 6, 7, and I need 5 of these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's another group of 75, and then I'm left with one more group of 75. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 500. So as you can see, I could buy 1, 2, 3, 4 bags of rainbow loom bracelets. So in this problem, $3 divided into groups of 75 cents gave me 4 groups, or 4 bags. There is an easier way to do it. This is sort of hard to find the 75. So the drawing might be a little bit easier in this model if you're not using base 10 blocks like the actual pieces. So let me show you how to do that. I made here 3 squares, and they are hundredths grids. And you can, in class, use smaller ones of these that you can color in. you could color in groups of 75 at a time. So this would be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. So that was 70 hundredths so far. And then color in 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's one group. Then you could take another color and color in the next group. So that would be 5, 15, altogether that's 25. And then I know that I need 50 more, because 50 plus 25 makes 75. So I would color in 50 of those. And when I put this pink together with this pink, that's a group of 75. And then I'm going to color in another group of 75. So all this was 50. Then 60, 70, and oops, went too far, 75. And then I can see that I have one more 75 to go. There's 5, 15, 25, and then plus 50 more would make 75. So here I've colored in groups of 75, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 groups colored in. This might be easier to model if you have to draw it. This way would be easier to do if you were going to actually use the base 10 blocks. So let's do one more problem practicing both methods. I have 4/10 divided by 5/100. So in this that you're thinking about that you're starting with 4/10. Here's a model of that. And I need to make groups of 5/100, or in other words, how many groups of 5/100 are in 4/10. So the very first thing that I did was draw my dividend, and then I realized it was going to be impossible like this to find groups of 5/100, because the hundredths are the the cubes, the small pieces. So I broke each rod into 10 hundredths, 10, 20, 30, 40 here. Okay. Now I'm going to circle groups of 5/10. So, 5/100. So there are 5/100. There's another group. There's another group of 5. There's another group of 5. 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 So now I'm going to count my groups of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 4/10 divided by 5/100 is 8. Or in other words, there are 8 groups of 5/100 in 4/10. And I can do the same thing over here by coloring in groups of 5/100. And hundredths are the teeny tiny pieces. So I'm going to color in 5. There's one group, 2 groups, 3 groups, 4 groups, 5 groups, 6 groups, 7 groups, and 8 groups. And then I would just count the different colored pieces that I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I can see this way that there are also 8. Part 2 of this lesson will be learning how to do this with the algorithm. There are some that you couldn't model or you wouldn't want to model because they're too huge. So we're going to learn some patterns that will help us come up with an algorithm of how we can divide by a decimal.